I can hear the cries. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry. I can hear the cry from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry. I can see the end in sight. The light at the end of the tunnel is shining bright. He has not forsaken us. Do you see the bow in the sky? He remembers his covenant. He's coming back for his bride. So prepare your heart. Let your light shine bright. Don't let your lamp run out of war. Sow some seed deep down and get soil. I know sometimes it gets hard. When it's going good, then it falls apart. No matter what, you need to keep the faith. You must endure, you gotta finish the race. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry. I can hear the cry from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry. Judgment is here, the world is on fire. Stay out the way. Choose whom you serve today. Yahuwah, he's got our enemies confounded. They fighting one each other. With his blood, you should be a cover. You gotta have a cover. So prepare your heart. Let your light shine bright. No way. So deep down, everybody has a purpose. Sometimes it gets hard. It's going good, then it falls apart. What you need to keep the faith. You must endure, you gotta finish the race. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry. I can hear the cry from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat?
Of the so-called African-American man. This afternoon, we'd like to give Paul Halal Abba Hayya Bahashim Yeshaya, the person's war for everything that's being done here today. Get that red button. Once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to week 6 of the demonstration of the so-called black man, of the so-called African American man. This afternoon, we'd like to give call Halal Abba Haya Bahashem Yeshaya and the precious Ruach. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High in the name of Christ as well as the Holy Spirit. We thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. We know you could have been anywhere in the world, so due to the fact that you decided to join us, we do not take your time for granted. That's all a better day as you come on to YouTube. Please hit the like button. For those who are on Facebook, please share this page, share this video on your wall. We thank each and every one of you for playing a part in helping us get this word out today. Man, we survived another week in Babylon. Hallelujah. With everything that is constantly going on around us. We thank the Most High for bringing us into another Sabbath. Man, last week this time we was prepping, getting ready for our new moon celebration. We thank the Most High for everything that He did last week. It was such a blessing, such an empowerment, such a wonderful time. Man, we could talk about that all day. We should have did like an after show, like, you know what I'm saying, just going over the signs of wonders and the blessings and the manifestation that took place during the new moon service last week. And I'm talking about the testimonies. Shalom, Deuce. Good seeing you with us today, man. And you best believe, man, we're gonna bring it out today. Hallelujah. But it didn't take 24 hours for the testimonies and the manifestation of what was sown into the lives of the people to start manifesting. Got so many good reports coming in. Raises, promotions, healings, deliverance, restoration. Oh man, it was just beautiful. Shouts out to my Aunt Lormans for coming away from Tampa, Florida to bless us. Shout out to the Atkinson family for being wonderful hosts. Shout out to 7-Day Harvest, Hebrew Heritage, and all the different ministries that came out in fellowship with us. It was a beautiful thing, but more importantly, shout out to the Better Day family. For each one of you playing your part and making sure that this new moon celebration was a success as it was. Like I tell you guys all the time privately, it's great to be able to do life with you guys and to serve the Most High. But I truly want you guys to know that this work cannot be done without you. Me and Deke really appreciate the labor of love that you guys put forth in whatever area that you do. We really truly appreciate it. Now, we have a word today. It's a continuation of the word that we gave the week prior. But before we go into that, let's do the Shema date, and we can set this up properly. Do the Shema, and then we're gonna dive straight in. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Haya Nawa Ahaya Kar. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Haya Nawa Ahaya Kar. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allah Haya Nawa Ahaya Kar. Hear, O Israel.
Hear, O Israel.
The Lord our Yah is one.
The Lord our Yah is one.
Hallelujah. For those who are not familiar with Shema, we don't want to come off as barbarians to you. You can find this in Deuteronomy 6 chapter verse 4, as well as in Mark, in the book of Mark, where Yeshua says that this is the first and most important commandment. So I wanted to make sure we brought that out as well. But as I stated, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be continuing the lesson. We're going to be in part 2 of the lesson that we did a couple weeks ago. That's entitled Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. And that verse where I was talking about in Mark, about Hero Israel, the Lord our Yah is one, you can find in Mark, the 12th chapter, verse 28 through 29. Now, for those who wasn't with us on last week, we're going to start with Revelation, the 3rd chapter, just to give you an understanding and a foundation of what we were talking about, not last week, but the week before. I strongly suggest that you go back and watch the part 1 of this video, because it sets a good foundation for what we're going into today. What we going into today, we really wanted to get in last week, but it would have been a lot more longer than it was. And throughout these last couple of weeks, the Most High has cultivated this lesson even more. We're not doing that. I forgot to take that up. We're not doing that. You understand? But being lukewarm, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very devastating thing, because it convinces us, and this is one of the dangers of the religion of Christianity, because it gives people, Christianity has given people a cop out to say, well, I may not be doing this, but at least I'm not doing that. I know there's more that I can be doing, but at least I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand that this is not the Most High's thinking. This is thinking of man. You understand? Shabbat Shalom, mate. Good seeing you on with us today. Matter of fact, before we go there, let's go to Isaiah 29 right quick, because I want to I want to go and give people an understanding of what happens when man's doctrine overrides or has more of an impact, you understand, than the actual Bible itself. Isaiah 29, we're just going to grab a quick verse here just to show you what I'm talking about. Isaiah 29, and let's go to verse 11. Watch this, D. I need 3 verses out here to be able to see what I'm saying.
And the vision of all is become.
Matter of fact, Slocky, D, start at verse 10, because this will make it even more clear.
For the Most High has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and has closed your eyes. The prophet and your rulers, the seers, have he covered.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what a lot of you don't understand is, some of you guys are following and put so much stock in blind men and women. And this is what Yeshua was talking about in Matthew 15 when he says, but if the blind lead the blind, they both will end up in the ditch. You see, these guys are tickling your fancy. These guys are making your flesh feel good. And you think that what they're saying is the gospel, where actually, ladies and gentlemen, it's anti-gospel, it's anti-Christ. You understand? I mean, I'm talked to, hundreds and hundreds of Christians in the last year or so about everything that's going on in society. And I say to them, I ask them, the main question I ask them all the time is, how is it that you criticize Israelites who've been talking about this, but uphold and support your pastors and your ministers who not only has never told you anything that directly, remotely related to what's going on, but still are not giving you any answers other than what they see on TV and come back and tell you the same thing. You understand? I mean, that's a sad thing. And what it is because, read that last part of that verse 10. It says what? The prophets. The prophets, and your rulers, all these leaders,
the seers,
he covered them. Those guys don't have no access to the Most High. You can tell by what's coming out of their mouth. They're not speaking on behalf of the Most High, because nothing they're saying is lining up with this Bible. We're going to trust the science. What verse is that? You understand? So, look, verse 11.
And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed.
So now, this Bible that has been so dear to our community, that has been so essential to the way we live our lives, has now become a sealed book. You have it in your car. You have it in your house. You have it download on your phone, but it's as if it's sealed and you can't get in it. Because your eyes been closed. You've been put into a spiritual deep sleep. And you don't even realize it. And most of you are taking the sleep medicine on purpose. Because you don't want to be aware of what's going on. You don't want to acknowledge what's going on. For a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a sad truth, for a lot of people, all this separation did, and this not being able to attend church did, was give you the excuse that you've been looking for the entire time. Because many of you was going to church on every Sunday, every week. Some of you was preaching, you was ushering, you was singing in choirs, you was deacons, you was whatever. And it was only about self-gratification. To be able to say that I was there. To be able to say that I'm here every week. I ain't missing. I am faithful. But in your heart, you have no connection to the people, no connection to the Most High, no desire to be there at all. So as soon as they gave you a way out, hey, you can't meet no more. You guys are fighting violently to keep the doors closed. You're screaming from the mountaintop, hey, we don't got to do this. The Lord is in our heart. All of a sudden now the Lord is in our heart. It still became a sealed book. Go ahead.
That is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed.
So now, for all these years, the pastors, these apostles, these top scholars, were the guys that people went to get understanding. Now you hand them the Bible, and you say, break this down for me, give me the understanding, answer this question for me, and you can't. And this is the real reason why many of you pastors are upset with Israelites, because Israelites, whether they be leaders or just regular general people, can break down these Bible and answer the questions of your members better than you can. So they go and have a conversation with an Israelite over here at work or some person in their family or see a video, and then once they come, then you go back to church and they ask you the question, you can't answer it. Because the truth of the matter is, for the last 15, 20 years, the only thing you've been doing is screaming, hollering, giving a couple of verses, going through your same motions of y'all don't hear me and all this. But you ain't never been getting in this thing to break it down for everyday living. So it gets to a certain point when the soliloquies wear out. Jesus is gonna work it out. We gotta love everybody. We can do all of this. You understand? This is what it has become. Now, verse 12.
And the book is delivered to him that is not learned.
So then now the book goes to a person who don't understand, who don't know truth, who hates spit time study. Go ahead.
Saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned.
Now, this is your everyday church member. Because they don't realize that they were never being taught anything about the Bible the entire time. Tell them how many times, man. How many times have especially this happening a lot now we're seeing with senior citizens. I mean, it's like we got to talk senior citizens from jumping off the cliff. Some of these guys are so guilt-stricken about all the time they spent in church. I had a lady one time in tears. We had to continue to talk to her over and over and over because she's like, I raised my children in this. I've been taking my grandkids in this, and I feel like I'm responsible for my family. No, we had to tell her, no, you're not. Because they never knew, they trusted themselves with men and with women who said they had their best interests at the heart, and most of them did. But it was never any effort to go past the emotional part of the actual serving the Most High. And that's what the problem was. There was nothing to go past that. So now that when it's time to actually put into practice what you've learned, they realize, I've never learned anything. I don't know anything. And this is not about being able to quote Bible scriptures. This is about being able to live it. So as a result, this is what it is, D. Verse 13.
Wherefore the Most High said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth.
So most of you people, they go to church every Sunday.
And
they do all of the holidays and the church programs and everything that is associated with their denomination.
And with their lips do honor me,
mm-hmm.
but have removed their heart far from me.
But their heart is far from the Most High. And why is that, D?
And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
Because they fear, the reverence and understanding of the Most High is taught not by the Bible, but by precepts of men. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is largely what you see all of this areas of procrastination coming from. It's because the doctrines of men has been the foundation of so many people that they believed the whole time that what they were doing was right. And it was completely off. Yeah, but it never had anything to do with the Most High. And now when we're in the season where knowing and having the wisdom of the Most High matters so much, people don't know what to do. Now let's go to Revelation 3. Just setting this foundation. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Revelation 3, D. Let's start at verse 15.
I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot.
So Yeshua is saying to us, he's saying, listen, I know your works. I know what you're doing. I'm not caught up in your social media stuff where you do all this hype and you got to post everything and let everybody know you're doing this and all your long speeches in church and hey, I'm doing this. No, he's not worried about that. He know the works. He know what we're really doing versus what we say we do. And he says he know whether you're cold or hot. But he said the problem is that you're not neither cold or you're hot. You ain't all the way turned off from me, and you ain't all the way for me. He said, I wish that you was one or the other. I would prefer you being all the way with me or all the way against me. Verse 16.
So then, because thou art lukewarm.
But because you are lukewarm, meaning if it's convenient, you're with me. If it's inconvenient, you're not. If it's political, if it's socially acceptable, you're with me. If it's going to cause you some problems in your hood, in your community, amongst your peers, you're not. If it's going to inconvenience your money, you're not. If you can get some money from doing this, you're all in. If it comes with promotion, if it comes with being celebrated, you're with it. If no one's going to know your name and you're in the background, suddenly you're not. If it's going to boost your name, your church, your agenda, you're with it. But if it's going to help somebody else and you won't get no credit for it, you're not. If it helps your goals, if it's going to help facilitate and further the things that you want to accomplish in life, you're with it. But if it comes down to choosing your own lifestyle, your own desires, I'm out. Lukewarm. You understand? He said, so then because you're lukewarm, go ahead.
And neither cold nor hot,
right?
I will spew thee out of my mouth.
Yeshua is saying, yeah, I'm done with you altogether. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. You can't be counted upon. Oh, man, yeah, man, I love, man, being in Israel. Oh, man, this is wonderful, man. Kwam Yasharala. Hey, man, you got to stop fornicating, man. You got to stay out the club. Oh, man. Lord know my heart, though. The statements the Lord knows my heart is the statement all made by sinners that said, I want to continue to sin. Because according to Jeremiah 17, he does know your heart. And he says it's wicked. You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the time out for playing these games, dressing your life and living your life based on your own personal truth. Listen, you got to stop getting caught up in society when they come up with all these different slogans. Look, these people in this world don't have nothing to do with the Most High. They have nothing to do with your Yah. And you can't keep standing with and being connected to these people and using their little soliloquies and statements in your life and think you're going to deal with the Most High. I'm just living my personal truth. You have no personal truth. A personal truth is nothing but a lie you're just unwilling to admit and acknowledge. We don't have no personal truth. There's one truth. It's this. It's law. It's a mashak. It's ruach. That's the truth. Let Yah be true. Let every man be a liar. We're all liars. Everything about us, everything about this flesh and carnality is a lie. It's not until you grab hold of Torah, grab hold of the ruach, and take the hand of a mashak that you can actually live in truth. There's no personal truth here. Personal truth gets you spewed out the mouth of Yeshua. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Now, Dick, let's go to Amos 3. Just building a quick foundation before we get into this heavy stuff. Amos 3. Every time we go to this verse, I want to remind my brothers and sisters who are still in what we call the denial stage, who still want to see yourself as Black, African American, Baptist, Christian, Pentecostal, Democrat, Republican, whatever it is that you call yourself. You know, whatever title you have accepted. The Gentiles gave you, you accepted it, said, this is who I am. That's not who the Most High calls you. He said, you are Israel. And let me remind you again, there's three people, three entities that will always see you as Israel. The Most High, to reward you, the devil, to destroy you, and the Gentile powers to eliminate you. Okay? And notice only one of those guys are there to help. So if you're standing with him, you're good. If you're still in denial saying, I'm Black, I'm an African American, I'm a Mexican, I'm a Puerto Rican, I don't care what you say, I'm Indian, listen, I don't care how you look at it, I'm Cuban, give me a pork sandwich, you can say whatever you want to say. The devil's still going to destroy you, and the Gentile powers will do whatever they can to eliminate you while smiling the whole time. Yeah, we're in this together to kill you. Okay? So as long as you're standing in the denial stage, it's not going to matter. But we want to show you this verse so you can understand how important it is to go from this lukewarm state. Because the reason that you're lukewarm is because you're identifying as someone who has been taught that lukewarm is acceptable. But when you walk in your true heritage and your culture, this no longer is a religion. This is about who you are. This is your relationship. This is who you is with dealing with the Most High on a daily basis. It's no longer a Sunday thing. It's no longer a religious or tradition thing. It's a lifestyle. Amos 3, verse 1.
Hear this word that the Most High has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
So you understand how important it is to have something against you. Listen, it's kind of like, and this is putting it on a lower level. And I pray that some of you have never even had to worry about this. But imagine going around, driving around every day, and there's a warrant for your arrest out. Right? And you just driving along every day, just living your best life. And then all of a sudden you see the police car lights coming around you, and you start looking around like, I got my seatbelt on. I ain't speeding. My tags are straight. Must be a mistake. What's going on? As soon as you walk up, they got guns drawn on you. Get out the car. What did I do? There's a warrant for your arrest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's a warrant, a spiritual warrant for your arrest. And you don't even know it. Because you've been living your life, everything, for some of you, things been going pretty good, family's good, protected. You got testimonies of y'all doing this and this working out and promotions and people being sick and feeling better. And you think, hey, I got to be on the right track. And that doesn't mean that you're not. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, what you don't understand is that right track that you're on will eventually run out unless you take the right exit. I-40 can take you to where you need to go. But once you get there, if you don't take the exit, I-40 is going to take you all the way to California. You understand? You understand? So just because you're on the right road, it doesn't make a difference if you don't know when to exit. And the exit that we need you to get to right now is truth. Christ is that road. And many of you own it because you know he died for me. He rose for me. He lives for me. His blood shed for me. Yeah, it got you on the road. But you're driving way past your blessing, way past your inheritance, way past your deliverance every day. Read that again. Amos 3:1 says what?
Hear this word that the Most High has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Oh, children of Israel, you are not black. You're not an African American. You are from the tribe of Judah for the nation of Israel. And the Most High has a problem. He has an issue with us. Go ahead.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
Right.
Saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Now, another dangerous concept that comes from Christianity. Oh, the Lord loves and deals with everybody. What verse is that? Every time someone says that to me, I hand them the Bible. Give me that verse. And they can't. And then some of them get upset. But just because I don't know where it's said in the Bible, that don't mean that it ain't in there. And the Bible, that pastor that was telling you that, has you ever read it? Have you ever heard anyone read it? Because it's fictitious. This Bible was written by Israelites, to Israelites, for Israelites. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Gentiles. You understand? And we are in captivity, looking to the oppressor, looking to the robbers and the thieves to tell us the truth. They're never going to tell you who you are. I don't care if they got a Black Lives Matter shirt on from in Black Lives with a black glove and a African what do you call it, dashiki on, okay, with a kufi on their head, okay, sitting down breaking down some chicken wings with you. They're never going to tell you this truth, okay. And we got a lesson coming in a couple of weeks called Black Lives Matter to Babylon. That's the only lie. That's the only place Black Lives Matter is in Babylon. It's coming in a couple of weeks. Because as long as you can be black, I got you. Black lives don't matter nowhere else but in Babylon. In a Babylonian wicked system. Israelite lives matter in heaven. Stay tuned for that. So the Most High say, listen, you only that I know. How do I know that? Hold your place there, D. Give me Psalms 147:19. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, Israelites are the ones that are always being accused of making up stuff, right? Yet Israelites are the only ones that can give you the Bible verses for what we're saying. You don't know the difference in that? When that pastor comes in there and jump up and down on the pew and say, God is love. He's going to do everything for you. Notice it's always hype and hollering, but nobody's sitting there like this. You see the difference? And I'm not going to begin to talk about these Gentile pastors with these passion versions and message Bibles, English Standard Versions, NIVs. I mean, just whatever now. They're probably going to come up with a dog version of the Bible. I can see that coming in a minute. They're going to have it in all bark or something. Watch. The Book of Earth. Yeah. That's for the pets. They're going to probably break that script down for the pets. I'm telling you, man. These Gentiles are fooled out of their mind. Hey guys listening to these guys. And they believe in these. It's like a smack in the face, man. Psalms 147, verse 19.
He showed his word unto Jacob.
He showed his word to who?
Unto Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Unto who?
Unto Israel.
Unto America.
Unto Israel.
Unto the Vaticans.
Unto Israel.
Unto the Roman Catholic Church.
Unto Israel.
Unto Israel, go ahead.
He is not dealt so with any nation.
The Bible says this. This ain't Levander. This is not an Israelite doctrine. What does the Bible say?
He has not dealt so with any nation.
He has not dealt so with any other nation. How are you going to tell me about my Yah when he don't rock with you? And what else?
And as for his judgments, they have not known.
They have not known them. Praise ye the Most High higher. Yet, all of our leaders, so-called leaders, and what they call the Christian community, the black church, look to those guys for all the answers. Behind every popular black preacher, there's a white spiritual daddy. They go to their seminary schools. When you talk about the so-called champions of Christianity, they're all in the mics. can that be? You know why? Because Christianity and the Bible have nothing to do with each other. But because you're in this lukewarm stage and you're approaching it halfway, you're not even realizing what you're doing to your own self by accepting this. So verse 2 tells us again, back in Amos 3, says what?
You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
He said, I ain't known anybody else. I haven't dealt with anybody else. I don't speak to anybody else. I gave my law to Israel. I gave the Savior to Israel. I gave the Ruach to Israel. I gave the commandments to Israel. You only have I known through all the families of the earth. Therefore,
I will punish you for all your iniquities.
I will punish you. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you have Gentile Christians, Gentile churches, look like they're on top of the world, mega churches, everybody blessed, everybody rich. You come to our hoods, poverty. And when you got the so-called black churches that are mega churches and the people's in there doing well, at what cost? What truth is coming from there? It ain't nothing but a mother funny from tunnel going in and out. It's the hard things people don't want to discuss. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Verse 3.
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Can two walk together except they agree? Now, Deke, let's go to Proverbs 12. Yeah, speed this up a little bit. These early precepts that had nothing. You know how it goes. Let's go to Proverbs 3. So like in Proverbs 12. So I want to give y'all this right quick because I know some of you that may be watching with us now, or some of you may see this in the days to come. Some of you right now may be sitting with your fist balled up. I'm tired of people telling me what I need to do. And ladies and gentlemen, what you need to come to the conclusion is people ain't telling you what you need to do. It's the Most High. The Most High is just using people to tell you what he wants to tell you. I had a young shorty come up to me down a new moon, and she was like, yo, you told me a couple of weeks ago what I needed to do. I procrastinated, and now it's coming forth again. She got her deliverance, though, in the moon, though. Because she took the rebuke, she took the correction, and she accepted it for what it was. Said, this is me. This is my life. I'm the one not going forth with it. You see, we come into a society where we soft. I remember back in the day, nobody was more harder on you than your homeboys, your friends. Like, you was always getting held accountable. You stepped out of pocket, it was going to be your mans that checked you. Nowadays, cats are soft. You just got to accept me. I'm going through a lot. What are you talking about? You're going through a lot. You're going through a lot because you're doing it to yourself. People don't want to deal with each other no more. And that means that you really don't love each other. You're with each other just to have some companionship. You got to be bigger than that. You got to love your people more than to sit back and watch them destroy themselves. Listen, my people know if I'm out, hey, tell me. My feelings don't get hurt. Somebody tell me I'm doing wrong. I appreciate it. I love correction. Why would I want to die? Because of some hurt feelings. But man, you can't really say it like that. And all the time we get this over and over. Yeah, I know what you're saying is right, but it's just the way you said it. Well, what about the first 5 years? I'm talking in a smooth tone. The jackboot said the dope now. The Romans are coming. Uncle Joe I'm telling you, before they take him out, he's going to take many of us down. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that because I ain't going to get the video canceled. Hey. I'm telling you. Proverbs 12, verse 1.
Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge.
Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge. Go ahead.
But he that hateth reproof is brutish.
You see that? Some of y'all hate correction. Like you just I don't know. I never thought we would get to the point of a society as a people. Not society. I was just talking about this Israel. Well, we just rather be just off for first somebody tell us. I don't want nobody telling me nothing. Yo, man. Hey, man. You got to get out of the pot. It's on fire. I don't care. I like warm water. No, man. Listen, man. I'm telling you. It's heating up, man. You got to get out of it. Man, hey, you don't need to tell me. Next thing you know, you're cooked alive. I don't understand. Like, why would you rather destroy yourself versus to take heed of what someone is telling you? Hated reproof. Especially some of you pastors. I understand. Listen. I tell this story all the time. He's in here right now. I tell the story all the time. The person that brought the truth to me was my little brother. I've been preaching for years. I done traveled all over preaching. And the one who brought the truth for me was my little brother. And the majority of you wouldn't accept it simply because of the package that it came in. Some of you right now, some of you pastors that had members, there's a lay member, some young girl, some young boy that's in the back of your church that's been there his whole life, coming to you bringing this truth, and you won't accept it because of who it came from. You hate it for proof. You're too prideful. Listen, at the end of the day, all that matters is that I'm accepted by the Most High, or will I be rejected by the Most High? And I could care less how that correction and that direction comes. I could care less. You can have a white man with a Ku Klux Klan outfit on and I hate niggas shirt on and come tell me, you're the children of Israel. This is what the Bible says. And I looked at it, I'm all in. But some of you don't want to change. Some of you done put your status of who you are so more important than anything that you can't feel like you can't be humbled. When the Bible told us that we must always remain teachable. We must remain in a position where we can learn. And because of this unwillingness to be taught and be humbled and be shown things, you're staying in a lukewarm state. Because your level of commitment is based on, as we started at Isaiah 29, the precepts of man instead of the precepts of the Most High. Watch this. Go down deep to verse 15.
The way of a fool is right in his own eyes.
The ways of a fool is right in his own eyes. Go ahead.
But he that hearken unto counsel is wise.
But he that hearken unto counsel is wise. It's time out, ladies and gentlemen, for pride. It's time out for egos. We got to put our arms around each other and allow each other to hold each other accountable. And let me speak to some of you right now that dealt in church, hurt in the Christian church. You understand? Shabbat Shalom, twins, good seeing you on Wednesday. and you saying, I ain't going back to church, I ain't dealing with no pastors, this and that, I'm telling you right now, you're in error. You need an elder. You need a pastor. You need a leader. And that goes for leaders, elders, and pastors. Everyone needs someone that they have to look up to and be held accountable to. Everyone. Wise counsel is an essential for life. It's like vitamins. It supplements your life. Yeah, you can make it on your own with your own knowledge, your own insight, your own abilities. But you're only going to make it so far if you don't have wise counsel. If you don't have the ability you don't have access to those who can see what you can't see, know what you don't know, have access to what you don't have access to. You understand? Now, quickly, let's go over to chapter 15. Just a little bit more motivation to get the brothers and sisters accepted, willing to accept what's coming. Chapter 15, verse 10.
Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that some of you are having a hard time accepting correction is because it makes you acknowledge the fact that you're off. So it's grievous, painful, it's embarrassing. It's only that because it's shining the light on the error that's in your life. You should be thankful for that. I'm going to show you a verse in Sirach 5 in a minute where a lot of people think they got a lot of time. And then suddenly, it's over. So the reason why some of you are having a hard time being corrected is because you can't accept the fact that everybody already knew you was off. Okay. What does that matter? You're putting too much stock in what people think versus what the Most High knows. Oh man, they're gonna find this out. They're gonna find it out. The Most High already knows. Why are you worried about what they're thinking versus what the Most High knows? That's what you better be concerned with. Right? Read that again, Deacon says what?
Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way.
Mm-hmm.
And he that hateth reproof shall die.
And he that hateth reproof shall die. We're going to lose 2/3 of our people. The majority of them are going to die because they don't want to change. But some of you are going to die. It's because you keep yourself in a place away from those who could tell you or show you anything outside of who you are. You need to be comfortable in your way. And being around people who are striving to be better, you can't do it. And unfortunately, a good percentage of that 2/3 will die because of a lukewarm status. Deep down, love the Most High, love Hamashiach, love people, but then love their self and the Most High enough to go the extra mile and to let things go. Read that for him again, D. So Proverbs 8:15, verse 10.
Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way.
Right?
And he that hateth reproof shall die.
You're going to die. I don't care what the Christianity has told you. I don't care what your denomination told you. You're going to heaven. You're not. You're going to die. And if you're here in the next years, as this thing become closer and closer and closer to the end, You're going to find yourself in a FEMA camp. You're going to find yourself up in the mark of beast, walking around like a zombie. And if you hear when Hamashiach comes, you're going to die a horrible, horrible death at the hands of the person that you believed in. Because he came as a lamb. He's coming back as a lion. He's not talking. There's no negotiation. There's no grace. It's simple. Are you with me? If you're not, you're against me. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Now, let's go down to verse 22.
Without counsel, purposes are disappointed.
So, if you're not willing to listen to counsel, the actual purpose of all your life will never come to pass. How many people, ladies and gentlemen, that you went to high school with, that you knew should have been great, was going to be had all this potential, but wouldn't listen to nobody? You go off to college, you start your life, you come back home and you see this guy at the store with a 40 in his hand. You see the shorty with 2 baby daddies. You're like, yo, everybody in high school worship the ground you walked on. Now you got 2 bums as a baby daddy, and you smoking loud and blacks. Wouldn't listen. Read that again. It says what?
Without counsel, purposes are disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
But in the multitude of counselors, they are established.
But within the multitude of counselors, your purpose becomes established. Because remember, I told you, you need to have people who can see what you can't see, know what you don't know, have access to what you don't have access to. You see, ladies, what is that Spider-Man says? With great power comes
great responsibility.
Equal great responsibility, and that's why a lot of you don't want it. You don't want to be responsible for nothing. You don't want to do nothing, and you think. I was wondering one day, D, I was going to talk to you about this. I was like, I was just talking to the Most High one day, and I was like, why is people always telling us that we're wrong and we're making this stuff up, but they won't ever sit down and study with us? And then the Most High helped me see. They know that once they see it, they're going to be held accountable for it. So they think, hey, I ain't read it. I ain't see. You remember what your short? Yeah, tell them that what they said. The old girl said that time.
It was just a regular conversation I was having with another girl. Somebody overheard us, but I was just telling her that she was talking about foods we can't eat. I was just listening to things I couldn't eat, and she asked me why, and I told her because the Bible told us not to eat that, and I just left it at that. Mm-hmm. The other person that overheard it was like, "Oh, you don't eat you don't eat shrimp and all that," and I was like, "Yeah, the Bible said not to." Well, her response was, "I never read that, so I'm gonna keep eating it."
See that? I never read that, so I'm gonna keep eating it. Now, where's that at in the Bible? Put me on. Let me see what the Most High says. But if you talk to this person, I can guarantee you, I don't know the person. I wasn't there. But the person probably said they're a Christian. See that? Yeah, I'm a Christian. You believe the Bible? Yes. Do you? Lukewarm. The epitome of self-destruction. Watch this. Verse 32. So like it. 32.
He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul.
He that refuses instruction despises his own soul. You talking? You got all these people around talking about somebody hate, man. They hating on me, man. No, you hate yourself. if somebody's bringing this truth out and trying to help you and improve your life, and you refuse it, the Bible says what?
He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul.
But
he that heareth reproof getteth understanding.
See that? So I wanted to make sure we bring this out today before we get into this heavy stuff. And this foundation did not supposed to take an hour. So buckle up. You understand? Oh, Deuce said we got it on record. Deuce did say bring it out. So that's already in order. It's been established. You understand? Give me that verse 33 so before we go in, Dean.
The fear of the Most High is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
And before honor is humility. So you're never going to be honored before you humble yourself. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Now, Deke, let's go to Jeremiah 3. It's just like Jeremiah 5. I need you to hold that and get Isaiah 45. Jeremiah 5. I need you to hold that and get Isaiah 45. Yeah. Jeremiah 5. I need you to hold that and get Isaiah 45. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. I need you guys to think here with us now, bro. I'm telling you right now, this is about to touch home in one way or another with all of us. Keyword, all of us. So I hope the Most High has prepared your heart and your mind to see this, because we're praying and hoping that as we come through this, that water is going to go from lukewarm to hot for the Most High. Jeremiah 5, let's start at verse 3.
O Most High, are not thine eyes upon the truth?
Are not thine eyes upon the truth? Go ahead.
Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction.
Right.
They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return.
Now, Jeremiah is crying out here because he said, I've seen all the destruction, all the correction that you brought upon your people. But they still refuse to return. And this is what we're saying to you guys today. As we often say, we have a 400-year sample size to see what this country means to us and how much we mean to them. But it's just like every voting cycle, every so often throughout the year, our people have fallen into a complete amnesia of what's really going on. Now, we know that these guys are practicing witchcraft and sorcery, but some of you are not even ready to receive that yet. So we're not even going to go into that aspect of it. But the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, is that sometimes you got to just look at it for what it is. Our people have been voting, aligning themselves as a whole with the so-called Democratic Party since Kennedy, the election in 1959. His presidency started in 1960. It is now 2021. What has changed in a positive manner? Now, I don't want to hear about these programs that were funded where it was 4 guys out of a community of 5 girls that went off to college. I don't want to talk about these little small success stories that they love to plug out there to make it seem as if, oh, this is the totality of what they've been doing. All these things are nothing but little talking points for them to bring this young girl out. Hey, yeah, me and my family was homeless, and through this program started by the local Democrats, she was able to go off to college. And no, hey, we're happy for her. But what about the 50 other thousand young girls that was on the streets that your programming, your laws put there? What are you talking about? You were responsible for the crack. You're responsible for the guns. You're responsible for the abortion clinics. You're responsible for the liquor. But you come in and save one, and then we're supposed to forget about all the jobs you took, then bring in the crack? We're supposed to forget about that? That's another lesson for another time. The bottom line is this. We should start it. What is it going to take for our people to realize that what we're doing is not working? Read that verse for him again, D. He says, thou has what?
Thou hast stricken them, for they have not grieved.
Because all of the death, all of the pain, yeah, you might agree that the loss of a loved one, but you ain't grieved that you haven't really entered into your mind, what is causing me to lose all of my loved ones? You know how we know that? Because you have generations of gangs, generations of drug dealers. Granddaddy sold drugs, daddy sold drugs, young boys are selling drugs. Granddaddy's in prison, daddy's dead, young boys, one of them dead, the other one in prison. Not learning. Grandma had 6 kids out of wedlock. Mama got 5 kids. The daughters got 8. Same projects. Same housing development. Same trailer park. Generations of the same behaviors, but not realizing, hey, what are we doing to cause this? Go to church on Sunday, run around the church, give the pastor all your money. Pastor goes out the back door with the money bag. You feel good because you thank the Lord and gave the Lord some of your time. You go right back home, same sinning, same breaking laws, same wickedness. Let's go and do it all over again on Sunday. This time, the Lord's going to make a way. This time, the president's going to make it happen. This time, they're going to really help us. Year to year, month to month, week to week, day to day. Never with no return of coming back. Watch this, verse 4.
Therefore I said, surely these are poor.
They are poor.
They are foolish.
They are foolish.
For they know not the way of the Most High,
right?
nor the judgment of their Yah.
They don't know their Yah. They know the God of Christianity. They know the God of America. They don't know their Yah. Ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you. America, nor the religion of Christianity, is not submitted nor know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? That God belongs to you. And you don't know that. You only know the gods of Christianity. Keyword gods. You don't know the gods of America. Keyword gods. You don't know yours. Read that for him again. Jeremiah 5:4.
Therefore I say, surely these are poor.
They are poor.
They are foolish.
The Most High said they are foolish.
For they know not the way of the Most High.
You don't know the word of the Most High. You know what your denomination says. You know what your family traditions have said. You don't know the ways of the Most High. You don't know Torah. Because if you knew that, you would have never followed a religion that told you that the law was done away with. I mean, think about it. Now, I told you I didn't want to get into this whole idea of sorcery. This witchcraft that's being put over our people through Christianity and media. But I just want you to think about it from a practical sense. Just pull your way back from your feelings and just listen to what I'm saying. You believe, no, we believed that this God helped his people. Let's just say, for instance, that we're not. Okay? That he wanted his people to be holy and righteous by keeping his law, statutes, commandments. They didn't do it. He destroyed them. He sent his son to pay for their sins. But yet now, you can come be his people and break the same laws that led to him destroying his people. Only people under a spell would believe that. Deep. On this job, I just had the fireman because he was embezzling money out of the company. But I'm going to hire you. He comes in and embezzles money. And he's surprised that I fired him. Just think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take it even deeper. You believe that you're a Gentile and that the Jewish people are God's chosen people. That he destroyed them. But they're going to let people that he didn't choose do worse than the ones that he chose? Just think about that. And that's what Christianity teaches. We don't know the way of the Most High. We don't know our Yah. We don't know him. And 1 John 3:6 says that if we break the law, statutes, commandments, we don't know Yeshua. And in Matthew 7, he said, if you break it, Matthew 7:23, Yeshua says, if you're breaking my law, I don't know you. Who are you going to believe? The Bible or man? Watch this. Go down to verse 20.
Declare this in the house of Jacob and publish it in Judah, saying.
So this is what we're doing. You can believe that you're Israel or not. We're going to tell you. Because we believe for the Most High that many of you are going to wake up sooner or later. And a lot of you have. All praise to the Most High. So we declare this to you, the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not.
Listen, the Most High is telling you, he's telling us who we are. We're foolish. We're not doing what he tells us to do. He calls us foolish. We have eyes, but we see not. We have ears, but we hear not. Watch this. Verse 22.
Fear ye not me.
He said what?
Fear ye not me.
Fear ye not me. This is the question that the Most High is asking. You worried about what people are saying. You worried about what society think of you. But he said, fear ye not me. All praise to the Most High. He said, fear ye me. And then he gives us reasons why. Go ahead.
Fear ye not me, saith the Most High. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for bound of the sea by a perpetual degree, that it cannot pass it?
Mm-hmm.
And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet cannot they not prevail? Though they roar, they not pass it
He said,
on?
listen, I am the one that is responsible for setting the oceans. And even though the waves are strong and beating, they never go past a certain point. And they don't do that because of me. Right? He said, you don't fear me. But what it is, verse 23?
But these people have revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone.
They are revolted and gone. Gone. Following the Gentiles. It's telling you, Black lives matter. Trans lives matter. Come on. Be gay. Man, be a woman. Woman, be a man. Break the law. Come on. Black lives matter. We love you. Black lives matter. Gone. And you following after master. I can't wait till a couple of weeks, dude. I can't wait till a couple of weeks. The same guys that were walking up and down the street talking about George Floyd, say Dave. You know, I had a red flag out there like this. Watch. We're all coming together. We're standing together. Ain't gonna be out there with the mask on and then when they vaccinated stickers on the shirts. Watch. And then when it comes down to September, because everybody knows that 6 months, that 7 months is in the Most High shifts, and the enemy retaliates by getting us distracted. Same guys waving the flag, gonna be out there again. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Watch. Gone. Wouldn't keep the Passover. We sat down, we worked tirelessly this year to try to get a lot of Christian pastors and churches to get involved on the Passover. Wouldn't do it. But I bet you have your hallelujah nights. Your harvest week. Watch. God, this is for the kids, man, you know. I think Lost Statutes and Commandments is for the kids. If nothing else, for the kids. I think Lost Statutes and Commandments is. So they won't continue to stay in a perpetual state of oppression. A couple Snicker bars and some Kit Kats, some popcorn and a hot dog. It's gonna really make everything better. Right? Watch this. Where we at, D?
24.
Verse 24. Jeremiah 5:24 says what?
Neither say they in their heart, let us now fear the Most High, our Yah, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter. In its season, he reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest.
And so we're not even going to acknowledge the fact of what he's done and what he's doing for us. We don't care. No need to pray unless something bad happens. Now I want to talk to him. Other than that, we can zoom it up. Right? Right? Let's zoom it up. Verse 25.
Your iniquities have turned away these things.
Your iniquity have turned away from these things, not the lack of civil rights. Okay, not because you ain't had the good amount of political representation. Not because you don't have a good credit score. Not because systematic oppression, racism, and white supremacy. Read it again, Dick. He says what?
Your iniquities have turned away these things.
Right.
And your sins have withholding good things from you.
You see that? The Bible always puts the onus on us. Because the Most High is going to hold us accountable. He's not going to go to them and say, hey, you guys are at fault, and my children are innocent. No. You're going to see that in a minute when we get to secret 8. Put your seatbelts on. I went back and forth with bringing out this secret 8 and secret 9, but our hands are tied. We're in what we call the demonstration. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm finding right now that there's so much residue of Christianity in Israel right now. We got to get this stuff digged out of the hearts of the people. And along the way, if we can help the Christian brothers and sisters, all praise to the Most High. But I'm finding that it's in Israel. I'm finding Israelites telling me, hey, when it come down to feast days, they're telling me I already got plans. What do you mean you got plans? How is it a plan on a feast day? That's commanded to keep. This ain't a suggestion. This ain't a church program. These are commandments. I would be that man, but I already got plans. Lukewarm. The epitome of self-destruction. Now, let's go to Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45. Let's start with verse 5.
I am
Ahia,
the Most High,
mm-hmm.
and there is none else. There is no Yah beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
Listen, I made you. I built you. You may not know me, but I know you very well, thus says the Most High. And notice how he started at verse 5. We're going to introduce you to him for those who don't know him at the end of this lesson. But that I am is a higher. He says what, Deacon, that verse? He says what?
I am the Most High.
A higher, the Most High.
And there is none else.
And there is none else. It's right here. And I'm like, man, you only can find that one spot. What spot? What Bible do you read? We're going to show you in a minute when we get there. He said, a higher, the Most High. Beside me, there's none else. It's me, a higher. Okay, go ahead.
There is no Yah beside me.
There's no Yah beside me.
I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
And then what? Watch what it says in verse 6.
That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Most High.
A higher, the Most High.
And there is none else.
Listen, man. What else do we need, D? Why are we still having a discussion about this? Right? None else. Go ahead. Verse 7.
I form the light.
I formed the light.
And create darkness.
And created darkness.
And make peace.
Uh-huh.
And create evil.
Now, I remember a few months ago, I was sitting among some family members and they was watching TV. And I heard a pastor come on there and say, hey, you got to know that if you're experiencing evil in your life, it didn't come from the Most High. It has to be the devil. But he didn't say the Most High, of course. He said it didn't come from God. It has to be the devil. I was like, you must ain't read the Bible. Satan ain't created evil. Satan was created. See, that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen, that you're putting too much stock in a creation and not enough stock in the creator. Everything comes from me. Everything. And because y'all got this watered down, I don't know, this whatever version of the Most High in Christianity, you don't know how it really is. He said, I created the light and I created the darkness. I created what, Deke?
I made peace.
I made peace
and create evil.
And create evil. Let's precept that, Deke, to Amos 3. So, because upon everything, 2 or 3 precepts, right? Upon everything that 2 or 3 witnesses establish it, right? Y'all got to understand that lukewarm status that you're living is bringing evil destruction to your life, and it ain't the devil. Because you're under this impression that every time something bad happens, it's the devil. You only think that way because you think you're Black and African American. But if you knew you was an Israelite, you knew there was consequences to breaking the law. You would know that. And you wouldn't even be talking about that. You wouldn't be looking out when something bad happens. You immediately look in. And that's not going to say every time it's going to be on you. Sometimes it is the devil. Sometimes it is life. But you will start with yourself first. Amos 3, verse 6.
Shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Most High has not done it?
Shall there be evil in the city and the Most High have not done it? You thought it was Wuhan? You thought it was Wuhan? Y'all guys don't understand, man. Witchcraft, man. Witchcraft. Back to Isaiah 45. Read that verse 7 again.
I formed the light and create darkness. I made peace and create evil. I am the Most High.
I, the Most High,
do all these things.
I do all these things. No devil. This dude, man, ain't nobody. He's a defeated being. Watch this. Verse 8.
Drop down, ye heavens from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, the Most High, have created it.
This is what I needed you to see. Verse 9.
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let this potster strive in the potsters of the earth.
Now, read that first part again, D. He says what?
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker.
Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Lukewarm. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you guys really understand what is the results of not following the Bible as the children of Israel. Me and when my sister was talking last night, and she was bringing out, she said, people been treating this Bible, and you know, it's often said, been treating this Bible like it's go to corral. They go around picking, say, I want this, some of this, some of this, but I don't want that, I don't want that. But see, like I said, this has come as a result of you thinking that you're Black and African American, thinking you're a Christian and Baptist, Pentecostal, Methodist, and all this, because under these umbrellas, you can do whatever you like, and Jesus is still going to work it out. Not much so when you know you're an Israelite. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me warn you. Every time your brother and sister come to you and tell you, and inform you, and try to enlighten you and empower you with this truth that you're not Black, that you're not an African American, and you'll fight it, you're striving with your maker. D, what did it happen in Numbers 22? Numbers 22, when they told them to go in there and spot the land, and they came back and said we couldn't do it. What did the Most High call it?
An evil report.
He said it was an evil report. Because I told you since you was in Israel, Salakia, since you was in Egypt, when I was bringing you out, I'm taking you into a land which I have given. You make it to the doors of the land and telling the people, we can't have it. Anytime you speak against what the Bible says, it is an evil report. Every day you look in the mirror, every time you go and fill out an application, every time you're talking to someone and you say you're black, you're an African American, you're releasing an evil report. And you don't even know it. Now, I'm not talking about someone who they never heard the truth before. So if you just happens up upon this video, and this is your first time someone ever told you this, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you and you who have seen videos and keep coming to us for the last 15 years. Yo, man, we're hearing you. But you're still in Sunday church. You still celebrate Easter, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. You're still breaking the law. You're still eating unclean foods. You're still fornicating. You're still a homosexual. But saying that you're hearing us. Saying that you read what we gave you. Saying that you watched the videos that we sent you. Lukewarm. For you that want to serve the Most High when it's convenient, but don't want to get in the fire, we're talking to you. You're striving with your maker. And Isaiah says, woe to you. Now, let me break down the second part. Read that second part of that verse. He said, let the what? Okay, I'm sorry. Let the potsherds.
Let the potsherds strive with the potsherds of the earth.
What he's talking about is a potsherd is a piece of broken clay off a vessel. So let's say, for example, if the potter makes a cup or a vase, right, and then that pot breaks or that cup breaks, that piece that comes off of it is a potsherd. So the Most High is saying, listen, you that's been broken because you're not doing what I told you to do, you're broken. You're unusable. You're unprofitable for me. You're broken. You chose the ways of the world. You chose the way of the Gentiles. You've went away and you fell off the shelf that I put you on. You're broken. You're nothing. You went from a vessel which can be used to a potsherd. It's just a piece of broken clay. Let you strive with other pieces of broken clay. Let you go back and forth amongst each other. I don't got no dealings with you. That's what the Most High say. Let you compete for who the smartest is, who the strongest is, who got the most money, who the finest, who got the biggest house. Let you deal that. Strive with each other. Go ahead.
Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou?
Now, how can the fashion, the vase or the cup or the plate and all these things that the clay makes, the potter makes, looking back at the potter and say, man, no, you trying to tell me I'm a man, I'm a woman. What makest thou? You assign me as a woman, but I'm a man. See this? You don't think the Most High deal with all this stuff, right? All the answers is in the Bible. But you're not going to find it in Pauline's letters that y'all want to stay in to keep you from the truth. What are the words of Pauline's scriptures? What is that? The name is Paul. No, Pauline. What was this, man? You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, the Most High ain't playing. What else did he say?
So the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou? Or thy work? He has no hands.
Man, you ain't got no hands. You ain't make me, bro. I made myself. You know, I'm my own God. For all you deep folks out there, I don't need to follow any religion or be submitted to anything of man because I'm my own God. I'm God body. Right. You God body gonna find your body in a lake of fire. That's what's gonna happen. Strive with each other about who got the most knowledge, wisdom, who more woke, who have more insight. You're gonna find yourself all in the lake of fire with your kufis on. You understand? Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Now, for second time, let's go to Ezekiel 8. Let's dig into it. Now, as I said, we're about to break down Ezekiel 8 and Ezekiel 9. This is about to be real. Don't shoot the message. Ezekiel 8. And let's start there at verse 1.
And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in mine house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Most High Yah fell there upon me.
Right.
Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire from the appearance of his loins, even downward fire, and from his loins even upward is the appearance of brightness as the color of amber. He put forth the form of a hand and took me by a lock of mine head.
He's talking about what?
Lock of mine head.
He talking about what?
A lock of mine head.
Now, you ever seen a white man with a lock? What they call dreadlocks? Sound like a so-called black man to me. Oh, yeah, by the way, we got to get out of this idea of saying dreadlocks, too. The locks. The dreadlock was given, the term was given to our people when the Europeans began to go throughout Africa and see our people with locks. And they said the queen looked upon one of us and said they looked dreadful. That's the dreadlock. So we got to get out of that. We just got to call them what the Bible calls them, locks. Just wanted to put that out there. We got to get away from that. You ain't got no dreadlocks. You got locks. Okay, and nothing dreadful about our hair. Nothing nappy about our hair. Okay, and nothing bad about our hair. Look at Daniel 7 and 9. Most High got it. Same kind of hair. Now, go ahead, deep verse. We're at verse 3.
And he put forth the form of a hand and took me by a lock of mine head. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the vision of Yah to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of an image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. And behold, the glory of Yah of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain.
Who was there? The Yah who?
The Yah of Israel was there.
No other gods. Not the God of Israel. Not the God of Christianity. Not the God of America. Not the gods of Rome, Greece. Okay? Not the Persian gods or the Hindu gods. Buddha wasn't there. Buddha would have got stabbed up and he'd have walked anywhere towards the door. Okay? You understand? Anybody. Anybody. You can get it. Right? Now watch this. Verse 5.
Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now, that the way toward the north. So I lifted up my eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry.
So there's something that's there that don't supposed to be there. Now, when the Most High first gave me these verses to bring out today, I considered going even deeper and just breaking down the whole idea, the setup of what the Christian church look like, the steeple, the entrance. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we can break down the whole setup of the church and show you the wickedness of it. But it's really unprofitable for us to do that right now. These are conversations that need to be had later down the road when you understand who you are. And then you can go back and look at all the tricks of the Gentiles. You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, but I will say this. You have to understand that majority of the churches, especially in the rural South, that were started or all started on plantations or given by slave owners. And they were the ones who, now we know that there were some churches that slaves built for themselves, but the majority of the architecture and the blueprints that was given come from Gentile churches of Europe. Well, you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that their churches are set up a certain way because they're set up to honor their gods. So when you start seeing groves and groves and all the way these things are set up, I mean, we could get deep into it to show you, but all of it's bad. It's bad. Okay. But here, Ezekiel is saying there's something here at the entrance that doesn't supposed to be here. And what I'm trying to get you guys to see as far as what we're dealing with when I'm saying lukewarm is because the only reason that these things are allowed to exist, these doctrines and the way people are doing things, the traditions, and who allow them to be leaders, who are allowed to be leaders, is because of the lukewarm approach that majority of people are taking. For lack of a better word, the church was never something that you're supposed to have a go along to get along mentality. I know people right now, ladies and gentlemen, that will never ever leave their church, and it's strictly because grandma went there and mama went there. It's a family tradition to them. So they don't care who the pastor is. They don't care what's being preached, what's being taught. They will never leave the church. Ever. They'll go Sunday after Sunday, they'll bring their children, and they'll demand their children bring their grandchildren, and they'll be there every Sunday, and nothing will ever change. Nobody's life will change. No family will change. No traditions will change. And everybody will be talking about, well, man, Pastor, I tell you, boy, he got to stop sleeping around. And Deacon I can't believe he got another wife in the church. Oh, man, I can't believe that the choir director is gay. And you just keep on saying these things, but you won't ever leave. You're not learning nothing. You're not hearing nothing. You ain't seen nobody get saved in 15 years. No healings, no demonstrations of the Spirit, of nothing. But you continue to go. Lukewarm. And then that 4 or 5 people that's actually at the church will really care. Fighting lukewarm and fighting wickedness, they just give up and throw in the towel. It's bad. It's bad. So watch this. Verse 6. Ezekiel 8 and 6. Go ahead.
And he said, furthermore unto me, son of man, seest thou what that they do?
So the Most High is asking Ezekiel, he's taking him behind the curtain. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we as a people have done a good job with hiding what's really going on. I remember, and like I said, I'm not trying to drag this thing out. I'm just trying to get you guys to really see what the Most High is saying now. Let me put this out here before I go in. I remember when I came home from college in 2003, I was a wretch I was wicked. I had been living bad, terrible. But the last maybe 4 or 5 months of my time in Fayetteville, I was going to church with my girlfriend. The Most High began to deal with me. Couldn't sit in church. Couldn't last the whole time. Every time I'd be in there, I'd be breaking out crying. I didn't understand what it was because I had never experienced the Ruach before. I didn't know what it was. So it was strange to me. I mean, it got to the point it was so bad that initially I would ask my girlfriend, like, are you telling this pastor my problems? Are you telling this man my business? Because every Sunday it was like he was talking directly to me. The church, I'm talking about the church was packed. Almost 400 or 500 people attending this church. And I felt like he was all talking to me. And it would be all over me. And I had to get out every time because I felt, man ain't supposed to cry. Man ain't supposed to be emotional. I was breaking down every Sunday. So the Most High was already preparing me to go home. So I went home and I was there for a couple of weeks, but I knew I got to go to church. So I started going to church with my parents, going back to my home church. And I was there 2 months. And I did what, we say, got saved. Now I know now that I was nowhere near saved, but the process began. But anyway, what I'm saying is that prior to that day, I thought all church people were perfect. Because I thought that when you go to church, you live right. Those who didn't were wicked. It was bad. Like me. I wasn't talking about the rest of me. I'm talking about me and everybody else who didn't go to church. You had the pastors on the pedestal. You heard the deacons and the mothers. You honored these people. And the truth of the matter was a lot of them deserved that honor. Don't get it twisted. So all these years that me going to church and learning after getting saved, and I was there meeting different people, fellowship in the church, because I went everywhere my pastor went. Stayed with him, stayed up on his whatever, I'm there, listening. But when I became a minister and I began to go into the rooms and go into the back doors and go right into the meetings and all these things, I saw a totally different side of the people that I didn't know existed. And it was very disheartening. It was disheartening to see that a lot of people was only doing this stuff for the cash. It was only doing it for the limelight. Was only doing it for the hype. It was chasing women. It was bad. It was crushing. People that I held in so great esteem. When I saw that people didn't believe the Bible, they didn't really even believe what it was saying. They just were saying it. When I saw people not putting no emphasis in their sermons, they had all this stuff was just bad. They would just show up and just say anything. Crowd going wild. And I would have to sit there and look and know this guy, he just thought of this just to say in the room 5 minutes ago. We know of a guy, I already know you know who I'm talking about, that would get booked for revivals. And what he would do was he would come out to the church during praise and worship time and listen to testimonies and then come back and preach it and make it seem like he had a prophetic word. People love it. Texas toast is what I call it. So this is what the Most High is doing to Ezekiel. He's bringing him behind the closed doors. But what all the leaders are doing, what Israel is doing when they think no one is watching and not understanding what they're doing to themselves. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. So, ladies and gentlemen, everything that we dropped prior to this, you may thought it was to attack, to ridicule or to judge you. No, it was to prepare you for what you're about to read now. And to see how the Most High deals with lukewarmness. If you don't want this to happen to you or your family, today is the day you make the change. Watch this. Look, Ezekiel 5, Ezekiel 8, verse 6. Let's read that again.
And he said furthermore to me, Son of man, seest thou what they do? Even the great abominations that the house of Israel committed here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary.
So the Most High said, it's so bad that I don't even want to be here. You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that prior to Yeshua dying for the sins of Israel, the Most High dealt with his people in the temple. This is where his spirit will come. Now that spirit has changed, that spirit came, the Holy Spirit came, the Ruach has came. Now we all walk in temples. They have nothing to do with the buildings that we're gathering in. 1 Corinthians 6, 2 Corinthians 6 says that we are the temples of Yah now. But you have to go read Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter, to realize that from a malicious heart, the spirit will flee. If you're breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, I repeat, if you're breaking law, statutes, and commandments, you do not have the Holy Spirit. Sorry, it's a fact. Read Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, 1 through 5. Think you want to go there? You want to show that? You want to bring that out? Let's bring that out. Let's bring that out right quick before we go into this. Let's bring that out. Let's bring that out right quick. Oh, y'all placing Ezekiel. But I think this is very important. They need to know that. I didn't intend to go here, but hey, Most High brought it up for a reason. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. Watch this.
Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth.
All right.
Think of the Most High with a good heart,
Mm-hmm.
and in simplicity of heart seek him.
So he said, listen, we are the judges of the earth, children of Israel. He told us that we got to love righteousness. Okay? We have to love righteousness, and we have to seek him with the simplicity of our heart. Verse 2.
For he will be found of them that tempt him not.
For he will be found of him that tempt him not. Go ahead.
And show himself unto such as do not distrust him.
So when those who are living right and trust the Most High will be found in their lives. Watch this. Verse 3.
For froward thoughts separate from Yah.
Because when you're thinking outside of what this Bible says, it separates you from the Most High. Remember, Romans the 8th chapter says that the flesh is at enmity with God. It separates you from the Most High. And it's not subject to the law. Watch this. Go ahead.
For a malicious soul.
No, read verse 3.
I'm sorry. For froward thoughts separate from Yah,
Mm-hmm.
and his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise.
Because when you try that power, when you do what thus says the Most High, you line your thought patterns with what it says, he will reprove, correct the unwise. But
for into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter.
Because in a malicious soul, wisdom, that Ruach, that Holy Spirit, will not enter. Go ahead.
Nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin.
Nor dwell in the body which is subject to sin. 1 John 3 and 4 says, sin is the transgression of the law. If you're breaking law, statutes, commandments, you don't have the Ruach. Verse 5.
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
Read it again.
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
Uh-huh.
and remove from thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide when unrighteousness
and will not abide when unrighteousness come in. This is the Bible. Now, that's good. That's a great precept, Deke. That should be more motivation to make sure you don't fall victim for what we're about to show you right here. Watch this. Back in Ezekiel 8, verse 7.
And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall.
So now, this is the outer courts of the temple. There's a hole in the wall. This hole in the wall, ladies and gentlemen, it's not, you got to understand that this hole in the wall means that we have built up a barrier to hide the wickedness and the things that we're doing wrong. But even though we hide it from people, the Most High is going to always have access. So the Most High was saying what he needed to see through that hole. But watch this, verse 8.
Then he said unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I digged in the wall, behold a door.
So once Ezekiel began to take a closer look and dig down in there, then he saw that there was actually access to something more that was going on. Watch this.
And he said unto me, Go in and behold the wicked abominations they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping thing and abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel, betrayed upon the wall round about.
Y'all see this? Many of you, ladies and gentlemen, got a bunch of idols, traditions that are contrary to the Most High. And you have them up in your home. You practice them. You pray to the cross. So I know a lot of you got crosses up in your house. And you pray to them. You look to it for answers. I'm going to show you in a minute what that cross is. Some of you got pictures of what you think Jesus is. And I don't care if it's a white person in it, white man in it, or black man. Either way, it's an idol. Some of you got what they call those things when they be making to the dead and stuff. You got shrines up in your house. You Catholics and stuff, you got your little rosary beads and all these stuff that's to these so-called saints, which ain't nothing but demons and devils and other gods. You got little trinkets and stuff that your grandma or somebody done gave you, talking about this is gonna bring you some good luck. All these things, you think it's innocent, but it's not. Because when it's time, it's a problem. You don't go to the Most High. You go to the old trinket. You go to the old cross you got. You go to white Jesus up on your wall. All these abominable things, idols. This goes along with your Christmas trees. All of it. Watch this. Verse 10, 11.
And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel.
And that's what made it even worse. Because he was the senior citizen. These were the old heads. These were the old heads. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how many old heads in church go to church and they're saying one thing in the church, but at their house, it's a whole other thing they're talking about? Listen, they say these things to go along and fit in at the church, but really their belief system and their loyalty This is something else. This is the old head. So if it's with the old heads, that means it's being passed down. Watch this. Watch this. Look at this, y'all.
And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. And in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up.
So they're in there, in the temple, burning incense, act like we're celebrating the Most High. But really I'm honoring another God. So if you coming through the temple that day, la-da-da, you thinking, hey, this is all good. Look at the elders. You don't even know. All these deacons and pastors, masons, all these women are Eastern Stars. You guys don't know what they're doing in these meetings. I'm telling you. If we told y'all, I'm telling you that. Listen, man. Listen. Telling you. Watch this. Verse 12.
Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark?
Right.
Every man in the chambers of his imagery. For they say the Most High seeth us not. The Most High has forsaken the earth.
You see that? I said the Most High ain't gonna see us. But as far as the people is concerned, they keeping up this image. Oh yeah, I'm with the Most High, yeah. But they're not. These are your pastors. These are your senior apostles and all your great leaders that you guys holding up as almost gods in your communities. And they're wicked men. They have more loyalty to these Masons and NAACPs and Democratic parties and their fraternities than they do to the Most High. They go off to these fraternities meetings. They go off to these little getaways and what they call them on these little retreats, straight orgies and everything popping off. Come back, preach hard. Say it, Pastor. Yeah, he's been saying it all weekend. Pastors in the pulpit throwing up fraternity signs. Coming in with Mason apparel. Got the whole church Masoned out. You're like, hey, this guy, hey, nah, it's the devil. Look what the Most High saying. Look at what the ancients do. This is stuff that our people don't want to talk about. Because you think it's innocent. It ain't innocent to the Most High. It's wicked. Watch this. Verse 13.
He said also unto me, Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than they do.
He said, I'm going to show you even something worse. You ain't seen nothing yet. Watch this.
Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Most High's house, which was towards the north. And behold, there sat a woman weeping for Tammuz.
That's the ones that one with their loving arms around the cross. That's Tammuz. They had nothing to do with your Lord and Savior. Number one, the instrument in which he was crucified on doesn't look like that. That's number one. Number two, if it did, do you know how many people were killed on those things? How all of a sudden It's a symbol for salvation. When the Romans had to kill hundreds of thousands on it, we were bamboozled to weep for Tammuz. Look at all the songs that we made. I'm kneeling at the cross. I'm waiting at the cross. Now you're waiting on Tammuz. You know what I'm saying? Down at the cross. No, down at Tammuz. This stuff is dumb. You think that the Most High is saying, well, I didn't know. You think he's going to hold him? No. Why do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Think about this. And we talked about this several years ago. I think you might have been the one to bring this out. In the 90s, with every rapper that came out, a part of his rap costume was what they call a Jesus piece or a cross. Now think about it. Why did all of the person of hip hop in the hood wanted a cross, a necklace for a cross, when we were living completely opposite of what they said the cross stood for? So everybody, I had one, ain't no front. I had a hot one. Iced out. I used to walk around Fayetteville State with it. My jump was so dope. I used to be walking through the mall and old white ladies would come up to me and grab me and be like, oh my God, I've never seen a more beautiful cross. Thought I was repping it. I'm wicked with a cross. If it got something to do with Christ, you wouldn't believe the things that I've done with that cross around my neck. I'm talking about me. Tammuz, he's all for it though. Weeping for Tammuz. We saying this is for the Most High. We saying this is about him, but it had absolutely nothing to do with him. These same ladies that the Most High showed Ezekiel was weeping for Tammuz, probably be in the church singing hard, praying hard, prophesying. Back at the door, back at the crib, weeping for Tammuz. When you go down to Jeremiah came to him and told him and said, hey, y'all need to stop this making cakes to ceramicists. You got to stop doing these things for Tammuz. And they're like, yo, we're not going to stop. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Watch this. Watch this, Dean. Watch this. Verse 15.
Then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these.
He said, this ain't it. I'll show you the elders, and I'm showing you the women. Look at this, verse 16.
And he brought me into an inner court.
Now, do you notice that we're in the inner courts now? That was just the outer courts. Okay? Because the temple consists of the outer courts, the inner courts, and the Holy of Holies. So what I showed you before, Ezekiel, that's just what they're doing on the outside. Let me tell you what the top boys is doing. Okay? Watch this. Verse 16.
And he brought me into the inner court of the Most High's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Most High, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Most High, and their faces toward the east, and they worshiped the sun toward the east.
Yes, it is. These are your pastors that's telling you Sunday is the real Sabbath. This is your Catholic Church. Newsflash, I don't care if you call yourself a Baptist, Pentecostal, holiness, full gospel, non-denominational, whatever. You're all Catholics. You go to church the day Catholics told you to go to church, you honor white Jesus that Catholics told you to honor. You don't keep the law because the Catholics told you it was done away with. And you have all the holidays in which the Catholics told you to celebrate. You are a Catholic. And your pastors then became mini popes, worshiping the sun. These are the leaders, the top guys. In the intercourse of the temple. Y'all seeing this? Now, let me pause here, D. For all you ones that want to put every problem that is dealing with us on the white man. Are we reading anything about the white man in here? Did the white man tell them to worship the sun? Did the white man tell them to cry out the top moves? Did the white man tell them to keep the trinkets and the traditions and the idols? So I'm sick and tired of this. The white man did, the white man did this. This is us putting ourselves in positions to be destroyed. There ain't no white man knee on the neck if you ain't serving Tammuz, if you ain't a Mason, if you ain't an Eastern Star, if you ain't wicked, you ain't fornicating, you ain't the sodomites, if you ain't doing all these serving under gods, white man knee don't ever come. I'm sick and tired of the same conversation over and over, blaming everybody else. Nobody was there but us. And we made the decision to serve these other gods. And you're making the decision to continue in the lukewarm state. You're making the decision to continue to strive against your maker. You're making the decision to not walk in the truth of who you are. You're making the decision to continue to break the law. And ultimately, what happens as a result of this will be your decision. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. Watch this. That ain't it, Nick. Verse 17.
Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? It is a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here.
They don't even see no issue with it, Nick. The problem what? We don't even have no guilt. It's a light thing. It is what it is. Right? Right? What else, Nick?
They have filled the land with violence and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they have put the branch to their nose.
They did it. They did it. They provoked me to anger. So, verse 18.
Therefore will I also deal in fury. My eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity.
Let's read it again, D.
My eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity.
No grace. No grace. No mercy. Watch this. Go ahead.
And though they cry in my ear.
And though they cry in my ear, because now they're crying, not deep. Oh, help us. Save us. But what?
And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that this is shaking you up. I hope that through all of this, You're looking at yourself. We're about to go into chapter 9. And you're about to see the response of the fury. You're going to see two essential things we're going to show you as we end this lesson off in chapter 9. Those who are destroyed and those who are not. We never get problems without offering a solution. When you take the solution today, when you put your pride to the side, when you repent, when you go from a lukewarm status to be hot from the Most High, or you continue to stay the same and wait on the rapture. The choice is yours. What you're about to see is not the God of Christianity, not the God of America, not the God of the Baptists or the Methodists. It's not the God of your grandmother. This is the Yah of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And this is how he chooses to deal with his people. He didn't have an ear. Let him hear what thus says the Most High. Ezekiel 9, verse 1.
He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand.
So everybody come. The ones that he saw put charge of the city, these are angels. Every individual has an angel of the presence, and the Most High has angels that watches over his people in every community, every city. He's giving them charge. He told them to bring them out and but he told them to do what though? And put what?
Even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand.
Put a destroying weapon in his hand. That means talk is over. Verse 2.
And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed in linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar.
So every one of the angels that the Most High called out, all of them had a weapon to destroy, but he told one in particular, so what he called a writer's inkhorn, that means just a pen, or instrument to put marks on something. He said, you put this by your side because you're going to use it for a particular reason. Watch this, verse 3.
And the glory of the Yah of Israel was going up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side.
Now he called out the angel with the inkhorn, and he's about to tell him the task in which he has to do. Verse 4.
And the Most High said unto him, go through the midst of the city, throughout the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sign, and that cry out of all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
So he said, listen, every one of the people that are against this wickedness, that have been praying to me for deliverance for the people, that have stayed in holiness, that stayed in righteousness, that are hot for me, that are living fully for me, put a mark upon their forehead. Now, we got to show you this. We got to show you this. Because we want to make sure today that you have the mark of the Most High upon your forehead. Because the enemy is ushering in the mark of the beast. And if you don't have the mark of the Most High, you will readily accept the mark of the beast. Because it's very apparent, because the majority of you, some of you, unfortunately, have already been attending the boot camp for the mark of the beast. You're taking the stages. You've already done. You already seek line and hook with most of you. For some of you that haven't, please hear what thus says the Most High. I'll show you how to get that mark. Hold your place there. And let's go to Revelation 7. We're going to show you for those who are going to have the mark and those who don't. Revelation 7. I want to show you that the same thing comes up again in the future. Revelation 7, verse 1. Shabbat shalom, Miss Chambers. Good to see you on with us today. Revelation 7, verse 1.
And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Yah.
Having the what?
Seal of the living Yah.
Right.
And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when you see all this foolishness, this is bad, it's talking about global warming. Nah, this ain't no global warming. What's the other thing that we talk about? Global warming, what? What's the other little term they try to say?
Climate change.
Climate change. Nah, this is the Most High destroying the earth. Okay. Don't buy the hype. You think that they don't let some little Edomite girl from the Netherlands or somewhere just go around the world and she just captivating crowds of hundreds of thousands. Oh, we got to stand for climate change, and y'all are buying it. Are you serious? All the Israelites on the corner tell you this truth about the Bible, you don't want to hear it, but you just hear a little white girl from the Netherlands to tell you, oh man, we gotta be more environmental conscious. Really? Y'all buying that hype? Really? No. Ain't no climate change, there ain't no global warming. It's the Most High destroying the earth. Wrath is coming. It's over. Okay? They ain't going to tell you that. Verse 2. It's like in verse 3.
Saying, hurt not the earth.
Hurt not the earth.
Neither the sea,
nor
the trees.
Right.
Till we have sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads.
So we did what?
Sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads.
Till we have sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads. And when you read verses 5 to 8, those are the 12 tribes of Israel. Not going to go through all that. Okay. You don't see the servants of Yah as 12,000 from the Baptist church. You don't see 12,000 from the Presbyterian church. 12,000 from the Catholic church. No. 12 tribes of Israel. The one that they tell you is done away with. The one that say they don't exist no more. Where are they going to come from if they don't exist? Okay? Another lesson for another time. Now, you saw that. Read that part again, Deep. Verse 3 again. It says what?
Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads.
Till we have sealed the servants of Yah in their foreheads. The same thing you've seen in Ezekiel. Go back to Ezekiel Deep. Read that Ezekiel 9. Verse, what was that? Verse 4. Read that again.
And the Most High said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads.
Set a what?
A mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abomination that be done in the midst thereof.
Now we'll be Revelation 7 and 3 says what?
Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Yah at their forehead.
You see that? Now, let's see what the mark is by going to Revelation 14, verse 1. Now you're going to see what the mark is. Revelation 14, verse 1.
And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion.
Now we know who that lamb is. That's Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world known to be Jesus the Christ. Go ahead.
And with him 144,000.
Now they ain't got nothing to do with no Jehovah's Witness. It's that 144,000 that you just seen over in Revelation 7, 12,000 men from the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
Having his father's name.
Having his what?
Father's name. Written in their forehead.
Written in where?
Their forehead.
Written where?
In their forehead.
In their foreheads. That's the mark. The Most High's name. His name ain't God. We're about to show you his name. If you don't have this name written in your foreheads, we're going to show you what's going to happen in Ezekiel. Okay? Let's go to Exodus, 3rd chapter. Let's give it the name of the Most High. This is the Bible. Can't say this is my opinion. Can't say I made this up. It's the Bible. Exodus 3. Verse 13.
And Moses said unto Yah, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, I shall say unto them, the Yah of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me.
Now, this is what we do every Shabbat. We come to the children of Israel on behalf of the Most High. And when we come to the children of Israel, they're going to say to me, what?
What is his name?
What is his name? This is it, D. This is it, Will. How many times in the Bible did somebody come up to the Most High and ask him his name? Once. I want to hear this. Well, we're over here and over there and in the third person. No, right here, right now. The question was, what is his name? And he said, what?
What shall I say unto them?
What shall I say unto them?
And Yah said unto Moses, I am that I am.
He said, what?
I am that I am.
He said, what?
I am that I am.
And in the Hebrew, that is a higher, a sure, a higher. That ain't an opinion. That ain't an interpretation. It was a question and answered. Q&A. A higher, a sure, a higher. Go ahead.
And he said, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me.
You tell them a higher has sent me unto you. It's better be in your forehead. Sealed. You understand? Now, maybe it might have changed over time, D. Verse 15.
And I said, moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Most High of your fathers, the Yah of Abraham, the Yah of Isaac, and the Yah of Jacob.
So, if Christianity was following this Yah, why they never told you his name? They told us another name, though, didn't they? We won't go into that today. The show gave us a whole bunch of names. They got songs with it. Jehovah Nissi. Nah. He said, I am a higher. What was the rest of that?
And sent me unto you. This is my name forever.
This is what?
This is my name forever.
What?
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
This is my name forever. And what else?
And this is my memorial unto all generations.
All generations. You better make sure you got it in your forehead, man. This is the Bible. Now, let's go back to Ezekiel 8, Ezekiel 9. As we wrap this up. Ezekiel 9. Read that verse 4 again, now that they know, D.
And the Most High said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And to the others he said,
But to what?
To the others.
But to the others,
he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity.
Everybody else dies. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. If you don't got the name, if it ain't sealed in the mark in your forehead, you're done. Now, y'all guys are worried about getting a vaccination pass so you can go to a basketball game. You ain't making it to the 12 gates with it. Unless you got the mark of the Most High. You need to make up in your mind what's more important. So getting along down here or making it up there. You also need to ask yourself, why ain't my pastor telling me this? Who does he work for? Why would he not tell me this? He'd open up his church for me to get the jab, but not to get this. You see that, Deke? I can't come to church, but I can come down there for the jab. Oh, they were doing outside the parking lot. They were being socially responsible. I think law, statutes, commandments are socially responsible. Verse 6.
Slay utterly old and young.
He said what?
Slay utterly old and young.
Old and young.
Both maids and little children and women. But come not near.
He said what, no, D?
Come not near.
But come not near.
Any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary.
And begin at my sanctuary. That means you pastors and apostles and ministers and deacons, you're dying first. You give me first. It ain't gonna be no rapture. Do you understand this? This is the Bible saying this. This is the book that you say you believe. This is your future. Read it again, D. He says what?
Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near.
Any
man with any man upon whom is the mark, and begin in my sanctuary.
You see that? So if you got the mark of the Most High, you're good. You're good. You don't, it's going to go horribly wrong for you. Verse 7. Slocky.
Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
Now the old men, all those ones, the ones I showed you back in Ezekiel 8, the ones that were doing this stuff on the low, he started with them. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth, and they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left out, that I fell upon my face, and I cried and said, O Most High Yah, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel, and thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem?
So Ezekiel, man, he's seeing this, and he's like, yo, he's seeing what's coming to his people. And like, Most High, you're going to kill everybody. But look at what the Most High said, verse 9.
Then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say the Most High is forsaking the earth, and the Most High seeth not.
Because you thought, because everybody else accepted you. See, this is another thing that I've been trying to get across to people. You notice how, ladies and gentlemen, how they got everything, they got all these numerous resources where you can go through social media and different organizations where no matter how you live and what kind of lifestyle you got and whatever you into, that you get accepted. This is messing the heads up of the people, minds of the people. Because you're thinking because you're getting accepted and you're getting loved. So you notice how all these little alphabet folks movies, everybody's loving them. They coming in, you're getting hugs and high fives and parades and up and down the street dancing. They ain't gonna be there in a minute. It's not gonna be that way in a minute. Shabbat Shalom, Bishop. Good seeing you on with us today. So everybody just shaking and jiving out there and gyrating and dancing and hey, I'm accepted. Everybody loves me. Thinking the Most High ain't looking. I'm telling you. Don't you believe it. Verse 10.
And as for me also, my eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head.
I'm going to recompense them. I ain't having no more pity. Pity is over, thus says the Most High. I'm going to recompense their way upon their head. Verse 11.
And behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded.
So those are being marked. And I pray that you receive the mark of the Most High. Lukewarm, the epitome of self-destruction. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to give Kal Halal, Abba Hayah Bahashem Yeshaya, for everything that took place here today. We pray and hope, ladies and gentlemen, that something was said here to empower you, to inspire you, to encourage you to go forth from your state of lukewarm and to become hot for the Most High. Ladies and gentlemen, I know these type of messages are difficult to receive, difficult to hear, and it's difficult to deliver. Whether you think, I hope you guys don't think that we sit back and get enjoyment from this. This is difficult. This is really difficult. But what I saw the Most High do last week at our new moon celebration shows me what the Most High really wants to do for his children. And we are just not allowing him to help us. He is ready to bless us. He is ready to heal us. He is ready to restore us. But are you willing to give up Babylon and all of its evil ways and come home? You're not black. You're not an African American. You're not a citizen. You're in captivity. You need to go check that lesson out we did last year called it. You're not a citizen. You're in captivity because you guys, I know it's difficult, but you think as if you have the same story as everybody else that's walking around America, and you don't. We are the only people that came here in slave ships. We didn't come here on Ellis Island. And you guys are going to have to accept it. I don't care how many of those people, how many of our people are standing on TV, seem like they got money and everything is good. These guys are paid distractions. They're part of the illusion of inclusion. Because the same guys that you're seeing out here that was going around, these basketball players and football players that going around to the communities about Black Lives Matter and we stand up with our communities, was the same ones that stood up with Bruce Jenner at the ESPYs. Is they not? And you don't see the difference in that. So, come home, Israel. Sit down, cut the TV off, and talk to the Most High. Do it for, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children. Because they're coming after our kids. I'm not talking. Listen, I saw a video with cartoons the other day, a little cartoon video where they were teaching the kids how to masturbate. They showed this at the school in New York to first graders. First graders. And they had, it just so happened, in the little video, they had their daughter in there be a black woman. You see what I'm saying? Listen, these guys ain't playing fair, man. They telling your kids, hey, you have the right. If you want the jab and your parents don't want to get it, come on down and talk to us. We'll make sure you get it. If you think you're a boy, if you think you're a girl, and they don't want to accept you, we got you. If you want birth control, come on to us. And if it gets bad enough, we'll help you divorce your parents. They sent the little boy, the little Nas X little boy on freaking Sesame Street. He went from that to giving Satan the lap dance with lipstick on. You gotta understand. Because they know that if there's one Israelite in this earth, Hamashiach comes back, the rule goes to us. Stop taking this thing personal and look inside. Talk to the Most High for yourself. Please. I beseech you, my brothers and sisters. These days of these videos, these days of us on the corners, it's coming to an end real soon. We already have to be careful right now with our words. They take our videos down. We got all kind of stuff we fight. We want you to know we love you. We want you to know that the Most High loves you more. And sent his son to die for you. If that's not a reason to be on fire for him, what else? It's time. It's your time. Get on the boat now, before it's too late. Shout out to my Israelites, to my ox and my oxes out there. All those who standing with us. Shout out to Set Apart Assemblies. We love you. Continue to stay the fight. And eventually, coming real soon. I just wanna go home. Back to Jerusalem. We're going home. I just wanna go home. Shouts out to the RC for putting us on to this. Jerusalem. We're going home, baby. I just wanna go home. Back to Jerusalem.
just wanna go home. Yeah, New Jerusalem. I just wanna go home. Back to Jerusalem. I just wanna go home. Yeah, New Jerusalem. I just wanna go home.
On earth as it is in heaven, thy kingdom will come, gotta endure and keep stepping. Yes. We will prosper, but no weapon. No matter how it's formed, just make sure the spirit is kept in. Yes. Covered with the blood of my Savior. You wanna make it home, better be on your best behavior. The Holy Spirit is not gonna chase you. Gotta humble yourself, the only way she gonna take us in the direction we supposed to be. Now that I got her, I'm uplifting anybody who close to me. Yes. My Savior lead the way, I follow his steps. On the way to Jerusalem and out of this mess. Home. Yes.
Back to Jerusalem. I just wanna go home. Yeah. New Jerusalem. I just wanna go home. Back to Jerusalem. I just wanna go home. Yeah. New Jerusalem. I just wanna go home. I just wanna go. I just wanna go. Pay the streets with gold. Pay the streets with gold. Trying to make a change. I pay the toll. Running from the flames. Stop, drop and roll. Like a fresh pair of J's, man, they so loud. So it's the sacrifice of kids serving more. Have you ever seen the poor riding horses? Sure, some people in hell on the Forbes list. Sorcerers, all lives getting tortured. Now them Jesus all in my business like it's corporate. No sun, it's just full of God's glory. So the devil wanna make the one. I just wanna go home.
As we always
Back
say,
to Jerusalem.
continue to be steadfast,
I just wanna go home.
unmovable,
Yeah.
always about it to the work of the Most High. I want you to know we love each and
I
every
just
one of you.
wanna go home.
Rock the time to all my people out
Back
there
to
that are
Jerusalem.
all set up all the ceremonies.
I just wanna go home.
Most
Yeah.
High Christ bless.
New Jerusalem.
And soon,
I just wanna go home.
rock the time. Shalom.